Wanchugo Indigenous Motor Worker Union Mota Khazaka Nishaka
ট্রেড ইউনিয়ন বা যে কোনো সংগঠন বিনিকেহা আইন এবং নিয়ম নীতিসমূহ এই আইন এবং নিয়ম নীতি সম্পর্কে সংগঠন যারা তাঙে দंनाय যারা নেতৃত্ব রিতনেরা নবগঠন আসতে যত কম বেশ বুঝাওয়া হা ব্রিফ কিয়া হা হয়তো কম বেশ যত সালেম ছিলেন রনিক চাও आं साना नायनाय जों जेकुनो दायित्व न जेकुनो सामुनि दायित्व जखन स्वीकार किए लानाय स्वीकार किए लामनि लगे न आबुनि कर्तव्य पालन खालामनाय नम्बर 1 शुधु अबया जेकुनो सामु तांचाथु संगठन पलिटिकल एनजिओ जेकुनो व्यक्ति जेकुनो सामुनि दायित्व याचागे लामनि लगे बिनि पारफरमेंस एवं बिनि सामु आउटपुट दिना आरो जागाव जों इंडिजिनास मोटर वर्कर यूनियन के मा पोजिशन अब जों भारतवर्षनि गणतंत्र हाव जे त्रिपुरा हा खबिया ये दिनिबाय प्राय 71 बছর এই 71 বছর পরেও প্রথম 2018 आईपीएफटी सरकार खायफाइए इंडिजिनास मोटर वर्कर यूनियन के यूनियन बा संगठन खानी साहस और साहस के लगे लगे कार्यकरी खेलना हाँ और कार्यकरी खेली थांगे न अनेक घात प्रतिघात सृष्टि हाँ किन्तु जो इंडिजिनास पिपल और जो माथा নত खेया कम्प्रमाइज खेले क्यों ना अब जेहेतु आईपीएफटी ब्रादरहुड अर्गानाइजेशन बा एलाइड अर्गानाइजेशन क्या आईपीएफटी बिदि एकटाइनो मुद्दा जे जों थैथु थांथु चिनि ए 19 दफा जनजाति न बुकुमबारा न जों फिउनि बाव संविधाननि द्वारा मुताबिक आंदोलन खेये न गणतांत्रिक पद्धतियाव एडिसि एलाकानो त्रिपुरा लैंड सामनाय जों आंदोलन कार्याहियो ए मोटर इंडिजिनास मोटर वर्कर यूनियन शामिल और जगह जों बाहायके बीजेपी बा सीपीएम जेकुनो पलिटिकल पार्टी फाइबा चुमराव थांनाया एवं बदि ट्रेड यूनियन राउंडके जेकुनो सरकार फाइगांके और सरकारनि अंडरटेकिंग के संगठन बदि लगे मा खालामनाय किन्तु जों इंडिजिनास मोटर वर्कर यूनियन जों मावनाय आरो जों आंनि निकाव किन्तु जोंनिया जेहेतु कोalition सरकार दङ जों ए कोalition सरकाराव जों बीएमएस जों थानाय आं बीएमएस मीटिंग थांया এবং তিনি যারা তো আমি ইনভিটেশন দিলাম আর এই বিএমএস তো আমার না আমি যাব কেন আমি আইপিএফটি রাজনীতি করি আমি সরকারের পক্ষ থেকে যদি আপনারা ইনভিটেশন করি তাহলে আমি অবশ্যই অ্যাটেন্ড করব ওখানে বিএমএস মিটিং হবে আমি বি अवेलेबल টু দ্যাট और बार-बार एसडीएम रेबो थाङा आरो थांखां गाव मा सानो ओंखां गाव 9 सेन्चुरि ओंखां मा गाव सानो आइनि तानाय सुइफ रिदमाय आरो पुलिस कले थाङा आइनि संगठन आइनि जाति गोष्ठी ताङे आइनि जाति गोष्ठी साथे ताङ खमनाय तांमाया को केरो नाइनि जाति गोष्ठी साथे मावनाय आइनि जाति गोष्ठी आं सत्रौबा आइनि जातिनि आइडेन्टिटी आइनि जातिनि सोशियल इकोनॉमिक कल्चर जे हासाकानि माथिनि आवश्यकनि शत्रु आबुनि फाइट आंखयो आं ताबो एसडीएम डीएम अफिसाव ए छिदो खाथि बीजेपी नो एमएलए सामना नांगा थायो गवर्नमेंट डेवलपमेंट के थानाय आबु जों जेकुनो सामनो काहांखो तानि नालाय समस्या थानाय नङा समस्या साराव কোনো সামনে जों समय नखंनि तां चामन हইতে जेकुनो सामन समस्या साराव सामग्री आबुनो जोंनो समाधान माखेनाय এই সমস্যার বিষয়টি না সামন্তালে जों সমাধান মাখিखाय যে তিনিও তাইসিস কাম বক্তার সাথে एक इंडिजिनस पीपल फंड ऑफ त्रिपुरा IPFT 6 शिड्यूल आदर के सेपारेट की दाबियो 2000 नॉर्मी 4 तारीख मास आपे तेमन उगलावो तबो जतो ट्राइबल बेस्ड जतो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी तंथु आंचलिक बस्तु बानेश्वरी लोक खाइजा तंथु नेशनल पॉलिटिकल पार्टी किंतु नरो फॉलो खेल आईडी IPFT फेमावे दं किछुटा चेंज नङा तबो CPM रो कब्रो बैसलुगान रियो आगरतला को आगे तो तंबा
National Institute of Okuro Higher Agriculture Robo the Science Promotion lagi admission
abo bo IPFT ni au kursi অর্থাৎ বড় যেতনো জায়গা সম্পন্ন এখানে শিক্ষা চলি না
Hayung gana gina corona bemar bai kobol jak lukuro bemar ni yak ni bupro yak kak sinai bupro ba bemar no te wana ma kiri ma kerike langma wa tongoi man chine abo joto lukurok nok nasing jak tabuk haste wa bo sal ke benglia lukuro bemar bai kobol jakai tongmani langma chawai tongmani haste wa bemar no te belai no wana ma sinja kiri ma sinja jora bai kobol jak abo hai jora wa max thubui nok ni ongkhorna ni social distance khai tongnani bagai hapang ni phasingte luko hajakai laya awi mung khlai jakai tongmani yakolobo mak thupiawi nokni ongkhonai rokno naikolna ni bagai raja khor agulini juda juda laharo ongkhol lakya police sengkrak rok mak thupiawi laharo ongkhonai rokni yakni 200k fine bo nahar jagai tongo te fine salo mak thupiawi laharo ongkhonai rokni yakni 400k fine nahar jagai police sengkrak
কেন আজকের এই অভিযান কত করে ফাইন করা হচ্ছে
200 নেক্সট টাইম ওলি 400 বাস
samung naitogoi bottola hatiwa achuk laija salphaike salono ajinani bagai samung tangnai ro salburumno samung naitogoi bottola hatiwa achugoi tongphaio juda juda amchani samung tangnai ro phia corona bemani jora samung humung gori ni bai ajina lama gori ingoi tongke se bial jingjalo kolai laija khini saka samung tangnai ro te abo hai jora hamiawa borokni phasing nahare jubanani bagai bo hapangni phasing koimung naruk laikha
ওই কাজ সব হয়নি আইন যে এই কাজের মাধ্যমে কি সংসার প্রতিপালন করেন নাকি স্যার আর কি করেন তো কি আবেদন থাকবো সরকারের কাছে
কি আবেদন থাকবে সরকারের কাছে আবেদন থাকলে আর কি দিব না দিব এটা
মানে কি কাজ করেন আপনি
কাজ দিরা ভাই
যে কাজ করেন পান এই কাজ করেন না আপনার নাম মানে আজকে প্রথম নাকি ডেলি আইয়েন
ডেলি আই যে তার সবসময় তো বাসা থাকে না আই আবার ঘুরে যায় অনেক সময় পাই
কোন জায়গা থেকে আইয়েন
আমি এসে স্যার আমরা এডিনগর থেকে
এই কাজ করে কি সংসার চলে না
হ্যাঁ
এই কাজের মাধ্যমে তো সংসার চলে আর এছাড়া কি কাজ করেন
আমি স্যার যে সময় যে কাজ পাই বেশিরভাগ মাঠের কাজই করি
আপনার নাম
না
হ্যাঁ
আরো
bemar bai katioi tongnani bagai hatio mask te social distance khai tongnani bagai hapangni phasing te salbrumno luko haja aimung rok khlaijakai tongo phia ba hapangni luko haja aimung no jai khayake hatio baniya khaine hatio phaini rokno mask te social distance khai tongmani nukjakliya maharajganj hatio bemar bai choporop jagai langma arui tongmani pati mungro hasteo salke benglia haipono bemar no te hasteo obohai wanama sinja pati mung patioi tongmani nukuibo sak sak hojakai bemar bai katioi tongnani bagai sak thari tongmani hapangni aoi mung rokno nahare manioi tongmani nukjakliya lukurokno
লাগান
হ্যাঁ লাগাইছি
Sirangshalo Montre Okra Biplop Kumar Devji Saknai Nog visit Kanya Thangthani Saknai Nogo Samung Tangnero Montre Okra no Gerep Sawai Borokni Samung no Hapangni Phasingti Goshimung Rui Hapangni Shebok Sunamna ni Bagai Sanmung Naraklakya Montre Okra Saknai Nogo visit Kanya Thangthani Saknai Nokni Samung Taknero ni Phasingti Abo Hai Patimung no Nugui Jibi Saknai Nokni Saknai ni Ronjit Das Borok no Gebenge Khuk Hamya Khilai Kok Saw Hni Kok Siljakar Samung Tangnero Thangnai Nuiji ba Bisi Romui Saknai Nogo Samung Tangmani Yagulobo Hapangni Shebokni Goshui Naharjagya Te Corona Bemar by Joba Klai Tongnai Sak Hamya Roknobo Borok no Naikuli Tuduli Nai Tong Hni Bosaka
কাগজ দিয়া জুলাই একটা দিতে কাগজ পূর্ণ হয়েছে কিন্তু তারও আমরা দিতে
উনি আমাদেরকে খাবার দেবেন খাবার নেবেন না কিন্তু আমাদের ছেলেমেয়েরা রিক্সা চালাচ্ছে আর ওনাদের ছেলেমেয়েরা মেডিকেল কলেজে ডাক্তার হচ্ছে
আপনাদের মূল দাবিটা কি
আমাদের মূল দাবি আমরা রেগুলার হওয়া ক্যাজুয়াল ডিআরবি ডিআরডব্লিউ
আর যে যাইতেছে না
আমরা আজকে থেকে 25 বছর আগে স্টাফ
কত আপেল কত সব ইয়ে মাইয়া এই কাজ না
893 জন
আর আমরা কয়েকজন আর 2 মাস আছি আমরা কিচ্ছু পাইলাম না একটা গরিব কিনা কিন্তু বাইরে ধরে ধরে ভিক্ষা করো
বলছেন আমাদের একটা করবে কিন্তু আমরা তো কথা বলা ছুটিছে ডাক্তাররা বলছেন এখন কথা বলতে পারবে না ছড়ে ডাক্তারকে
সবাই যান
আমরা সবাই আমরা লাইন ধরে
सिनाय थक मनायदि गोसोक सिनाय थक मनायदि
India is an ancient country and has given birth to many famous persons and leaders. Unfortunately, there are unsung heroes amongst us who lie forgotten despite their contributions to the country. One such legend was the visionary and progressive ruler, Maharaja Bir Vikramanitya, who achieved so much in a very short lifetime. Born on 19th August 1908 in the princely state of Tripura to Maharaja Birendra Kishore Manikya Bahadur and Maharani Arundhati Mahadevi, the young prince showed great intellect, discipline, and promise from an early age. He started assisting his father in matters of the state while continuing his formal studies and military education at both Shillong and Agartala. He was not just excellent in his education, but also an expert polo player, an artist like his father. Unfortunately, after the demise of Maharaja Virendra Kishore Manikya, who was barely 40, Bir Bikram Manikya had a tremendous task ahead of him. Assuming the throne at the tender age of 16, he was invested with full powers when he became 20 years of age on 19th August 1927. His investiture darbar was attended by His Excellency the Governor of Bengal, Lord Jackson, and over 2 lakh people from the state and outside attended the solemn but grand 5-day event. The magnificent Ujjainta Palace at Agartala witnessed 2 important events in December 1940. This rare clip, captured by the Craighead brothers, was commissioned by the National Geographic magazine USA. It portrays the grandeur of Tripura and the joyous mood of the people as they witnessed the Tika or investiture of the Crown Prince Yuvraj Kirit Bikram Kishore, the sole heir of Maharaja Bir Bikram Manikya, on 12 December 1940. This was followed by the wedding of Maharaj Kumari Beena Devi, sister of the Maharaja, on 14th December 1940 with Maharaj Kumar K.S. Nirmal Singh Ji of Bhavnagar, Gujarat. The procession of 100 elephants, regally decked, amidst music, chanting, and the participation of the happy people shows the ambience in Tripura at the time. Thus was the reign of the Maharaja, when all were free and happy, despite the Second World War and communal violence in different parts of British India. He introduced a modern democratic constitution on 1st Baisakh TE, corresponding to the Tripura era or New Year on 14th April 1939, with a bicameral legislature and neutral judiciary, Panchayati Raj and a municipal council steering the administration in many modern directions. The progress of education in the West impressed the Maharaja so much that on his return he immediately drew up a model scheme Vidyapatan, or an educational institute, which included a college of arts, science, agriculture, technology, medicine, and a rural university. This was the Vidyapatan, which is now known as MBB College and University. Besides this, he established more schools and vocation oriented institutes in different parts of Tripura. And also in Dharmanagar, he established the Bir Bikram Institute. Schools in far-flung areas with stipends for promising students were also promoted by holding of reward examinations for the students living in the hills. He established training centers also for the artisans and also the convicts in prison, deaf and dumb schools, boarding houses, school buses for girl students, and training institutes like Sanskrit tolls and madrasas were also set up, which indicate that there was no religious bias. Maharaja Bir Bikram Manikya maintained his cordial relations with the poet Rabindranath Tagore till his death. On the poet's invitation, the Maharaja visited Shantiniketan to stay with him for some time when he was formally given a reception at the famous Amrakunja. The Maharaja bestowed the title of Bharat Bhaskar, Son of India, upon Tagore on his 80th birthday. This was a mark of Tripura's respect for the poet, which was received by him with honor and came much before the country recognized Tagore. For the development of the rural areas, especially inhabited by the indigenous people in the hills, the Maharaja tried to modernize the village system. He wanted the villagers to manage their own affairs through elected members by creating a Grama Mandali from 1938 onwards in the southern areas. He strengthened the Tripura Kshatriya Mandal and regulated and modernized their social customs for their growth. A secular ruler, he wanted all-round development for all sections of the society. He set up social organizations such as Manipuri Kshatriya Mandal and Lashkar Radha with the intention of improving his citizens' way of life. He received many honors from Muslim organizations outside his state, such as Anjuman. He was a gifted architect Islam Hadi and has left many of his structural specimens executed on the lines of his own plans and blueprints. The extension of the Ujjainta Palace, the formal gardens and fountains, the Neer Mahal Palace, the only lake palace in East India, was constructed over a marsh known as Rudijala and is a work of art. Unfortunately, the Shripur Palace could not be completed due to the war and his demise. Maharaja Bir Bikram Manikya was well travelled, and after seeing the plight of the Native American tribes in the USA due to influx, he took steps to protect the rights of his indigenous people by starting one of the first reserves in India, consisting of large tracts of forest and reserved areas for their welfare in 1941 and 1943. Temples like the Buddha Mandir were also designed by him, and it was inaugurated by his son, the then Yuvraj Kirit Bikram Kishore Bahadur. The Agartala airport he commissioned in 41 was used to airdrop food and supplies for the refugees who were in the thousands flocking his state during and after the war. Maharaja Bir Bikram gave protection and food to thousands of riot-affected people of the neighbouring districts of British India, once during the Dhaka riots in 1941 and again during the Noakhali riots in 1946, when thousands took shelter in the state for their life and honour. The spontaneous influx of thousands of famine-affected people in 1943 from British India were also given food and shelter. The Maharaja's royal administration extended their cooperation to the migrants, and for maintaining communal harmony, Preeti Bardhayak Samiti was formed. No less than Mahatma Gandhi asked the Maharaja to give shelter to these refugees who swarmed the state. A crucial time in world history happened during his reign, the Second World War, and the independence movement gained momentum, giving rise to violence. This stalled his other plans for the state, yet revealed the heroic side of the king. Trained in the Indian Army, he reorganized the armed forces, commissioning the 1st Battalion of Tripura Rifles that played a mighty role in the war. he led his army against the Japanese Imperial Army at the fronts of Burma and Arakan, emerging victorious, defeating the Japanese who had occupied large parts of Southeast Asia since December 1942. With his bravery and selfless act at battle and governance, he was awarded the Star of Burma, saluting gun and titles. But he insisted that the brave ones who had fought with him be recognized, as well as many were martyred in the war, including his brother. On May 17, 1947, only 2 months away before Indian independence, a very pivotal moment in Tripura's history, Maharaja Bir Bikram Manikya Kishore died prematurely of chronic pneumonia. Perhaps the strain hastened his illness. His 19-year reign marked a remarkable turning point in the history of Tripura. He was succeeded by his only heir, His Highness Maharaja Manikya Kirit Bikram Kishore Dev Burman. Being a minor, the administration was vested in a Council of Regency set up by the Government of India. His mother, Her Highness Rajmata Kanchan Prabha Devi, was appointed as the regent. The age-old kingdom of Tripura was finally integrated into the Indian Union by an instrument which took effect from 15th October 1949. Maharaja Bir Bikram Manikya lives on. He held on to his vision for a better future for his people and showed that with selflessness, unity, working towards a common goal, we can achieve the impossible. Leaving behind the differences that divides us, our generation can make a big difference and progress in our lives and our state if we follow his example.
National Institute of